Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Namofsky. On today's episode, we're discussing disrupting the divorce industry. Now, ladies, before we went to break, I was talking about, what would you say is the biggest mistake people make during their divorce?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's two-part. I think the first mistake that people make is they let their emotions dictate the decisions that they make. And it's such a difficult time because the emotions are so high. And yet at the same time, you have to make all these important decisions. So they often are guided by that rather than looking at the divorce in sort of a business minded way, right? So that's where Alex and I come in, where we kind of take out the emotions and focus on the choices and the decisions that need to be made to move your family forward. And I think the second part of that would be thinking that you can do it all by yourself. It is such a huge undertaking to go through this process, and there is no need to do it all alone. And maybe you can't afford a full team of, lawyers and mediators and financial analysts, and that's fine. But surround yourself with some professionals. Get yourself a mediator. Get yourself, a coach, someone who can really support you in the way that you need it. And don't be afraid to reach out to other people who've gone through it as well.
So, what happens when you're dealing with a couple and let's say party A is really into this and really wants help, and the second party just doesn't care, doesn't want to even be there, doesn't want to be a part of it? How do you deal with this conflict?
Yeah, so that happens quite a bit where we get one client who's sort of the more willing party who wants to be part of the mediation, and the other one could be maybe indifferent or just, have their interest elsewhere. And so I think a part of that is realizing that what's the alternative and helping clients understand what the alternative is. You can come to mediation, be a part of the process, make decisions for yourself, and help get this process completed, or the alternative is going through litigation. And that's not something that really anybody wants. And I think once people realize that this is a place that they should be, where they're making their own decisions, they're speaking for themselves, they come around.
So, what do you do if someone's not being truthful in mediation? You're asking for them, for their input. You're asking them a lot of questions and they're not being truthful. Let's even say about their finances.
That's a big one. Financial disclosure is a big part of the work that we do, and everyone has a right to financial disclosure. However, in mediation, there is a world where you can do it on a trust-based process, where you share your information and you exchange, what your incomes are, and you go forward. But there are situations where people are withholding, whether it's assets, bank accounts, their true income, all those things can happen. In that case, you might not have a choice but to get court intervention.
So I'm a huge financial literacy advocate, especially for women. We make less than our male counterparts. We live longer. And there are some generations of women who don't know anything about the bank account or their RRSPs. So how do you help women who've never even seen their RRSPs or dealt with the finances at all?
Alex, I'll let you answer that one.
Like Amanda said, this is a trust-based process. So if someone comes to us and says, listen, my partner, my soon-to-be ex has handled all of this, I don't know what to do. It's our responsibility, it's our ethical duty, if you will, to remind them that they are legally entitled to have access to all of their finances and all of their ex's finances, right? Full financial disclosure is every person's right going through this process. So again, it's our job to really empower them and give them that education, give them that information, because often not only do they not even know what their finances are, they don't even know what their rights are around that. So again, not as a lawyer, but providing information in and around what that looks like. So empowering them to go talk to their bank manager, getting their login for their CRA, all of that stuff. So it does take time. The financial component is a bit lengthier than some other bits, but it is incredibly important, and we take as much time as needed to make sure that everyone has all of the information before they go about making any kind of decisions.
There's a lot. There's a lot to deal with here. And I think it's important for people to understand that, this is a legal process. It's emotional. There's a lot going on. So when we come back, I want to talk to you both about the pros and cons of using a mediator and, why somebody should actually use one if they think, no, I don't need one.